Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our next weekly AMA. My name is Marty, also known as Alcatraz. For those who might be joining us for the first time, I'm the lead designer at Raini Studios, working on our flagship title, The Lords of Light. How are we doing today, gentlemen? You're muted, Chris.
Technical difficulties. I'm doing well aside from them. How are you, mate?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Doing pretty good for a Tuesday. Draz, how you doing, man? How,
Yeah,
how's the how's the ladder climb going for you?
for me,
Yeah.
oh geez, I'm getting flogged a fair bit actually. But I'm trying different things. I'm trying some of the theme decks. I'm pretty hopeless with them, but even with the decks I'm building, I'm still getting flogged. Every now and then I got a win. I got a win against Metal the other day, which I was pretty happy with. He beat me first, and I beat him again. But I mean, any sort of win. But it's all obviously learning and still having fun, even though I am losing to the things. So I'm not so concerned with the leaderboard just yet, but I'm level 40, almost level 45 on the battle pass. So getting close
Oh,
to
nice.
achieving that, which is great.
Getting very. I think 46 is the card back, and 49 is
Yeah.
the. I should know this. I designed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 49, the big one. That obviously has got the yeah, unlocks the Lux Pass for season one.
Yeah, that's
Which is
fantastic.
pretty
I'm keen for the
massive.
card back, actually. That looks pretty cool.
Mm. Yeah, I've seen that popping up in a few games, which is pretty cool to see.
Mm.
So yeah, I've got my developer account. So if you see Alcatraz ALZ in game, cool. You're playing against me. Please be gentle. Um, but yeah, we've got like another account that I'm just playing through just as a completely free to play account as well. Um, Not a related name to me whatsoever, but yeah, I'm nowhere near the top 20 on the leaderboard at the moment. Um, Pretty cool to see. Bone Hunter 89. I'm pretty sure that's Nemesaur.
It is
Uh,
Nemesis, yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah, so the winner of our last tournament is number one on the leaderboard. So
Yeah.
clearly everything works. All is right with the world. But having said that, he's only 1 point ahead of Thor at the moment. Um, and yeah, if he gets an unlucky like matchup, plays against someone, say, outside the top 50 and loses that game, that's gonna yeah, because we're still running a K value of 32 on the ELO system. So yeah, if either of those players lose to like a lower ranked player, that's gonna have a pretty drastic effect on their leaderboard position.
What is the
Which is
K value of 32? That drops you, not 32, it just drops you fairly heavily.
so yeah, basically when you use so we're using I mean, this might be an interesting question. I think we touched on it last week as well.
Yeah.
So we're using a pretty standard ELO system that calculates your MMR. It's that system's been around for literally hundreds of years. Was originally developed for like competitive chess. It's used in most skill-based one-on-one sort of ranking systems. Although there's a really interesting white paper that the Xbox Live team wrote on how to adapt ELO to team-based games. They started using it for Xbox Live matchmaking back in the Xbox 360 era, and they've sort of gone through from there. So if you're looking to do team-based matchmaking, they've got systems for that as well. But yeah, ELO basically is the way that it's actually is calculated. It's basically it calculates based on your MMR and your opponent's MMR, your expected percentage to win. And then the K value basically determines how strict or how aggressive we are in enforcing that. So if you had if you had an infinite K value and you lost to someone who was say 20% worse than you, your score would drop by 20%. So we use the K value basically to tweak it. At the moment, we've got just a straight K value across the board, but we are able, with the way we've built the system, we can actually sort of set that up so that as you move further away from 1,000, like our starting value, we can actually reduce the K value or increase it, depending which way we want to go. Generally speaking, you want to have it at its highest value close to that 1,000 mark. You want players to basically jump away from that number as quickly as possible, either above or below. Obviously, moving below means they're more likely to get matched up against similar skilled opponents, which is good. And it means that if they do still manage to win against higher ranked opponents, they get pushed up quite drastically as well. But yeah, generally, like we'd probably implement it maybe once you pass say 1,500 or 2,000, which will happen. Like that, it's slow going when you are at the top of the leaderboard. As our top ranked players will probably be finding right now, you do have to fight to get those little incremental improvements in ELO over time. But yeah, obviously we can look at reducing the K value in those higher ranked games, just so it's not quite as swingy when you are in those really like high up positions.
Sure.
Having said that, it's fun to watch everyone complain on Telegram, so maybe we'll just leave it how it is. Like it's you can go either way really.
When the new players come in, because they're obviously, I saw a few comments through the telegrams and things and Discord maybe that some of the newbies are getting matched up against some of the good ones and getting flogged. So the matchmaking is working, just sometimes there's not enough players, so you just match them with a game after a period of time.
Yeah, so at the moment we use like a sliding scale. So we try to match you with someone within 50 points of your current rank, like straight away as soon as you join the matchmaking queue. We ping the back end leaderboards every 6 seconds because obviously leaderboards can change like while you're in the matchmaking queue, obviously as games sort of finish.
Yeah.
So yeah, we look every 6 seconds. We basically ping it and we try and find you a matchup in that sort of thing. After I think it's 24 seconds, we extend it out to a delta of 100, and then after 45 seconds, we actually remove the MMR restriction whatsoever. The thought process there is basically we would rather have people find a game than just imagine if you had say a top ranked player, a middle ranked player, and a bottom ranked player, they might all be in the queue at the same time. If we kept the restrictions on, I mean our queue resets every 6 minutes. If we kept it on for the whole time, theoretically you've got 3 players looking for a game and no one finds a game. Just obviously that's the nature of having still at the moment, like still in soft launch, a relatively low player population. So yeah, at the moment, after 45 seconds, we remove the restriction completely, and we'll just match up. We still try to match up players based on their MMR, but it stops being a requirement basically at that point. So if there were 3 players in, like a top, middle, and lower ranked, we wouldn't match top and bottom. It would basically go off who was in queue the longest, and we would match up probably someone against that middle ranked player. But yeah, we'll keep tweaking that. We'll keep looking at it. Obviously, once we move into full launch, we have a lot more players in the actual ecosystem itself. We can look at adjusting that. Again, we've also got the ability to adjust it based on time of day. So we have already noticed that there's certain times over, say, a 24-hour period where our matchmaking, our servers are more or less active. As you'd expect, it's generally like evenings in US and European time, being that's obviously where a large portion of our player population lives. And if you ignore some people who are putting in a lot of games per day, most players are sort of playing in the evenings for their local sort of time zones. So yeah, we're able to adjust how the matchmaking system will work based on that. And then the cool part of that is moving forward is it would actually allow us to also add new matchmaking queues on a timed basis as well. So theoretically, if we wanted to have like a theme deck only matchmaking queue, we could set it up that only gets turned on at maybe 4 p.m. US Eastern time, and then turns off again at like 10 p.m. Eastern. So basically trying to make sure that we would only have it enabled at times where we have the player population to support it. Because again, if you have 2 different matchmaking queues, you could have 2 players looking for a match and never actually find each other. So it's
That all
a
makes
lot of
sense.
stuff to sort of balance out there.
Sweet. Okay.
Oh, so I'm gonna drink breakfast while we chat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're now we're 2 weeks post launch. Everything's traveling along nicely. Huge shout out. I'm pretty sure I said this last week as well, but just a huge shout out to the team. Obviously, outside of Chris and myself, there's a lot of people working on the game, working on improvements, working on keeping everything running. If you found the hidden credit scene in the game, then you would know exactly how many people are working on the game at the moment. But it's there. Just start clicking around on things in the menu, you'll find it. But yeah, there's been like I think we're about to roll out like the 8th update very very shortly. The update that's coming out hopefully later on today will have some huge improvements to what we call the onboarding or for TUI flow. So new players will actually get directed into the tutorial straight away. They'll get told, hey, finish this, you get your 2 theme deck tokens. So adding a lot more transparency and visibility around that early game experience. And we're probably going to actually remove the 2 base decks from new accounts from that point forward as well. So I believe it's orange and yellow decks that we just add to everyone's account by default. We're going to get rid of those and just sort of direct new players more to finish the tutorial and unlock 2 theme decks and basically focus on playing with those, because as anyone who's tried those base decks compared to the theme decks, there's not a huge difference in terms of skill level required to play each of them. But there is a huge difference in power level between a base card deck and a theme deck. So trying to move players more over to the theme decks should give a much better onboarding experience for new players. And yeah, should hopefully let new players be a bit more competitive on the leaderboards and in matchmaking as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Elon's in the red theme deck, which is obviously a very powerful card, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, all the theme decks have, I believe, one legendary. Pretty sure it's only one. I don't think I was looking at some. Maybe there'd be two in some of them, but I'm pretty sure they all end up with just the one. So yeah, and again, it was designed more around which of the seven would basically be the most iconic, but would also help to show what the colors themselves are trying to do. So Elon is a great example. One of the, like, I guess, sub themes in red is like on play abilities. We see that with like Manticore, we see it with Elon, and stuff like that. So it's sort of it's obviously a very powerful card, and the cool animation, and it like feels very impactful when you play it. But it's starting to sort of show players, okay, these are what each of the seven colors are trying to do in the game. So that when players do, open some soulbound packs or they collect some of the collectible cards, they've got an idea of what colors they might like to play with and how to sort of put more advanced decks together.
Excellent. What else happening? You guys talking about the World Championship today?
Yeah. We'll give a quick update on that. We're in the middle of getting everything locked in, and we can start publishing all of the dates and times and details around that. But yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen all the announcements on Telegram, Discord, and Twitter, or even in the game itself, I'm pretty sure I've got one of the rotating news stories at the moment is for the World Championships. Yeah, this will be the big update. So yeah, September will be the 2023 Rainiverse World Championships. Basically, it's right after our launch, on obviously the full launch of Season 1, and we're basically looking for this to be just a huge celebration of the Lords of Light. For everyone who's been with us for the past several years, it's been a lot of work to get the game to this point where it's very competitive, balanced, and fun. Those three things are quite hard to sort of mix together and get right from time to time, and hopefully we've managed to get that formula correct. So yeah, we're really looking forward to just opening the floodgates, welcoming as many players as we can, and yeah, just holding just a series of massive tournaments to crown our inaugural world champion. So as I said, the actual dates and times are still being locked in at the moment, but I know this will be of interest for at least some of our community members. We are doing everything we can to make sure that we run events across that are compatible with all time zones, including India. So for some of our players who unfortunately our regular tournament times aren't great for them, there will hopefully be at least some events that sort of line up with that. And also just while we're on the topic of the World Championships, just a huge shout out to Merit Circle and Pentoshi, to our major sponsors for this tournament series. Their support is pretty much what's making this all happen. So yeah, definitely please go follow them on Twitter, give them a like, give them a shout out. They're definitely helping us sort of bring this whole thing to life. For the actual tournaments themselves, there'll be a series of just regular events running throughout the month of September, which will basically be run in one of 4 different tournament formats. So this is actually the really cool part that we're doing. If you follow poker at all, if you've played in like the World Series of Poker, if you followed, well, I ran some tournament series for previous games. So I'm not going to name drop them, but yeah, we've done similar things this before, where the actual events will be run in one of 4 different tournament formats. So format number 1 is what we call just standard eternal format. It's exactly what you would get right now if you played in any of our Blue Mint tournaments, where basically you build 2 decks using a combination of soulbound or collectible cards that you have access to on your account, and you play through the tournament as normal. There'll be a mixture of best of 1 and best of 3, depending on the stage of the tournament. There'll also be a mixture of single elimination and double elimination tournaments in there as well. So for those that may not have played double elimination before, it's kind of like a second chance format. So after you if you lose a round, you actually get dropped down into a lower bracket and you keep playing. And then the winner of the losers bracket will meet the winner of the winners bracket in the actual tournament finals. So yeah, just a really great way to basically help some players who maybe just get unlucky draws. Now you've got no excuse. If you get knocked out now, it just means you suck. But yeah, it just sort of evens out that variance a little bit, doing a mixture of single and double elimination. So yeah, format 1 is just standard Eternal format. Format 2 is one of the ones I'm really excited to see. Will be theme decks only. So this one's going to be fun. This is literally you prepare 2 theme decks, or you have 2 theme decks ready to go. It's a normal tournament, but yeah, you can only use theme decks in that particular event. Event, or the third event type we're doing, will be a collectible card format. Where to participate in that, you must own a certain number of collectible cards, and your decks must be built using a certain number of collectible cards in each of your 2 decks. We're still working out some of the rules around that specifically, because some cards weren't actually released as collectible cards, specifically like the Tempest commons and uncommons and such like that, and obviously some base cards. We're just working out exactly how the rulings are going to work for that. But yeah, you will need to own collectible cards, which for those new players, we refer to collectible cards. Other games would refer to them as NFTs or on-chain cards, basically. But yeah, collectible cards will be the third tournament format. And then the fourth one is our open Eternal format, where we actually turn off any restrictions around card ownership for deck building. And basically, you can build using any card that is available within the RTLOL ecosystem. This is obviously similar to what we had back when we were in our open alpha stage of the game, where just all cards were completely unlocked. And as we said the whole way through, like the plan always was to keep that format available for specific events. It won't be a common event that we run, but when we are doing something like crowning our inaugural world champion, we wouldn't want the results of an event such as that to necessarily be influenced by, if a person can own a specific card or something like that. So yeah, there'll be a variety of tournaments, single and double elimination, using those 4 different formats. There'll also be some turbo events running in there. So turbo tournaments will just all be best of 1 single elimination the whole way through. The idea being that if we're going to look at doing some events like on a weeknight, we might just run them as turbo events, just to basically make it a bit quicker for players who, if you've played some of our big events like the 10K Avalanche Invitational and stuff like that, that our big tournaments can go quite long. There's a lot of people out there playing RTLOL at the moment. Who would have thought? So yeah, we'll have a mixture of turbo events in there. There'll be a last chance qualifier on the Friday before. So the last weekend of September will be the basically the grand finals. That will be a invitation only tournament. Basically, or a qualification tournament, I guess you would think of it as. To get into that event, you would need to have finished in a high ranked position in one of those previous tournaments. Again, when we release all the details, you'll be able to see which specific tournaments basically feed which number of players into that grand final invitational. That entire invitational will be an open format, best of 3 double elimination. And that will be the winner of that event will be crowned the 2023 world champion. So outside of that, there's, the important stuff. There'll be prize money, there'll be collectible cards, there'll be card backs, there'll be cosmetics, there'll be all the sort of things you'd expect for any sort of tournament series such as this. But yeah, if you want to be able to undisputably claim that you are the best RTLOL player in 2023, this is how you do it. This is pretty much from this point forward. We're not going to joke around about like Huncho's back-to-back streak. We're not going to talk about like Mason coming in and dethroning Huncho. We're not going to talk about Nemesaur coming in and and topping the leaderboards and winning like our first tournament once we went live on Epic. If you want to be that top-ranked player, if you want the street cred, the kudos of being the number 1 player, this is it. Full stop. End of discussion. Like, this is the big one, basically. So, yeah.
Nice. Could they have some sort of PFPs sort of, or something, I suppose, that like almost like a digital trophy that they can use ongoing?
Yeah, we're looking at some stuff like that. Obviously, working very closely with the team, the Beam team, which obviously we've said before, we're working with Beam to allow us to do like on-chain assets and collectibles very, very easily for all of our players, regardless of their familiarity with blockchain or with Web3. So yeah, that will be obviously a big part of it. But yeah, I mean, at the very least, I would expect to see something like, a unique, a one-on-one card back, a one-on-one PFP, stuff like that for whoever we do crown as the world champion.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, maybe we'll do one for the second place person. We'll just put like, second place is the first loser or something on there. But yeah, there'll definitely be yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff focused on this particular series of events.
Right. All the marketing and things like that, I suppose, with season one, that's so season one's still end of August. That's still on track.
Yep, 20 days away. 28th of August is the
Yep.
plan for that. If you follow us on Twitter and Telegram, stuff like that, you'll see some of this stuff slowly starting to ramp up from now. There's a very well-known Gods Unchained player who actually released a really cool video for us. I think it was last night sometime that video came out. But yeah, if you don't follow Copper Pitch or any of that, definitely please check out his content on YouTube. Yeah, very, very solid TCG and Gods Unchained player. And based on his performance so far in RTLOL, very solid RTLOL player as well. So yeah, he put together a really awesome guide to getting started in the game. Plays through a couple of games in that video as well. But yeah, a lot of the serious marketing efforts will basically will ramp up towards the 28th, and then obviously kick in from there. And I mean, yeah, like you can sort of think of the world. There's a reason why the World Championships is being aimed for literally the month after our full launch. If we're
Yeah.
going to have all eyes on us, if we're going to be giving away some of the biggest prize pools in the history of RTLOL, then yeah, we want to basically tie that all together when we do have the big marketing push sort of related to that as well.
Nice. Hopefully we can get a good market sentiment at the time, but we'll have to wait and see for that. Nothing you can control there, really. It is what it is, but the game is great. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that's, marketing in a nutshell, is you pretty much, you throw a bunch of stuff out there, and you sort of see what sticks. Obviously, we track a lot of things on the back end from a data and analytics perspective. So we'll be looking at which marketing efforts bear the most fruit, in terms of new people coming into the ecosystem, engage players, players that connect wallets and have collectible cards and such like that. And then we'll be looking at all the stuff we do. We look at how much it costs us to do all this, and yeah, we definitely will be making sure we're putting the marketing dollars in the right places. It's nothing against different partners we may choose to work with. Like some marketing works, some marketing doesn't. So yeah, we'll be tracking what works, and the stuff that does work, you'll see much more heavy focus and attention on as we move forward.
Definitely, the numbers on the leaderboard are steadily rising. Going
Yeah,
up
there's
400s and
there's yeah, I mean, we obviously look at all the back end data. Obviously, since launch on Epic, we haven't done a crazy amount of marketing, but there's been new players coming into the game every day. The number of one of the stats we look at on the back end is servers per hour, which is basically how many servers we have to spin up to host games, whether they be lobby games or quick match games. That number is steadily trending up as well, which is always great to see. It means that the people who are coming into the ecosystem are playing more games, which is always great. One of the other metrics we track on the back end as well, and this is if you're a data scientist or a data nerd, it's one of the more interesting numbers to look at. Is we look at what we call day 1 and day 7 retention, which is basically looking at how many people come into the game and then come back either a day later or up to 7 days later, and those numbers are both steadily rising as well. Which is really great to see. Probably a little bit early to get some good numbers around day 7. But yeah, having solid day 1 retention is super critical for a game, because what that actually means, it means that the people that come in and try the game out, they're coming back. Which when you're a free to play game and there's so much competition for people's entertainment time, generally means you're doing something right. You've created something that people actually enjoy and they want to keep playing in some way, shape, or form. And I'm just on the back end now. I'm just looking at that. Yeah, like our day one retention, if you compare week 1 to week 2, has actually gone up by 85%. That's a normalized value, so it's ignoring that there may be more or less players on a per week basis. It's just averaging that out and going, all right, of the player group that you have, yeah, that number is actually increasing quite aggressively, which is great to see.
Yeah, nice. Definitely.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, yeah, 2 weeks in, everything's still basically moving up and to the right, which is great. More people coming into the ecosystem every day. I apologize if I mispronounce it, but I'm going to assume the name is Janes or Jans or something like that. I see they're in the chat, so yeah, good to see people from other games coming over and trying it out. And yeah, I mean, I mentioned it on the video that got put out by Copperpitch. Like at the end of the day, like rising tide raises all boats, or however that expression is meant to go. Like the more quality products we have in the Web3 ecosystem, the better it is for all of us. And at the end of the day, like the Raini Studios team, we're fans of TCGs. Like we play Gods Unchained, we play Magic the Gathering, we play Pokemon, we play, used to play like Skyweavers and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of interesting games out there. And yeah, like at the end of the day, having more games for gamers to choose from, just is better for everyone in the space. So yeah, definitely cool to see some Gods Unchained players coming over and giving the game a try.
Yeah, definitely. Are you carrying on with some other stuff, or you want to just roll through a couple of questions as they come?
That's all the big stuff. So yeah, if you want to crack into some questions, we'll go into those, and maybe we'll finish this AMA within an hour for one of the first times ever.
Yeah. Huncho just asked in one of the telegrams, is it possible to get promo cards in the color packs?
No, it's not. So yeah, color packs basically rotate on a 7-day basis in the store, so you can buy one a day with coins. So they're a really great way to keep an eye on those and pick up packs maybe for decks that you're trying to build, or maybe use it as a way to kickstart a new deck that you're trying to create. Promo cards are deliberately hard to get as soulbound cards. That was a deliberate decision by the design team. Because of the fact that we give them out for participating in tournaments. You've caught us. Our evil plan is we want people playing in more events. So yeah, if you want to get all the promo cards, the best way to do it is playing in as many tournaments as you can. Obviously, keep in mind, there's obviously our big ones that we try to run on a monthly basis. There's also the smaller ones that run every week over with our friends at Blue Mint. And you can see those tournaments when you actually go into the client. There's that big button or big link up in the top right that shows you like upcoming tournaments and events. So definitely make sure you're checking those out. And yeah, like obviously, if you are looking to pick up some extra promo cards, there's some promo packs available through the Battle Pass, but generally speaking, you probably want to be looking at some collectible cards to round out your collections there for those ones.
Excellent. The Byzantine ruler has asked in the chat here, how much revenue has been generated from the card sales? You might be able to answer that, but that probably is all card sales, I suppose, from start to now.
This much, not to scale.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah. I mean, if
that sort of thing.
Yeah. So obviously, Genesis was released back in 2021 at the height of the bull market. That was quite a good set for us to release back then. It helped create the runway and help build the studio to where we are today to actually get the game fully released. Future on-chain sets have been great for us to get them out to the community. Obviously, Tempest was probably, I guess, technically the worst set in terms of revenue, but was probably the best set for us in terms of rewarding and supporting our community. Like I think 2/3 of packs in Tempest itself were set aside specifically for unicorn and rainbow packs. That was a deliberate choice by the team to basically want to reward people who hold the Rainy token and get those cards into the hands of our longtime community members. But yeah, obviously I can go into specific numbers outside of to say that on-chain sales have been great to get us where we are now. Soulbound sales obviously are a great way to support us, and obviously give us revenue to put towards marketing and other activities. But yeah, we'll still be doing a mixture of both soulbound and collectible card sales as we move forward. And obviously there'll be a tokenomics medium. I'm actually working on that directly after this. That will go into a bit more detail around the ways that we are rewarding people who do choose to own and play with collectible cards.
Nice. The format of the theme decks, format 2, during the upcoming tournament, do they have to be unlocked through the game first, or they're just going to be available? Just choose whichever of the theme decks you like, and off you go.
No, so you still have to unlock them.
You do?
Yep, absolutely. But having said that, I mean, finish this tutorial, you get 2 theme deck tokens. You need 2 to play in the tournament. So it's a very small ask to say, hey, play the tutorial and you're ready to go. Especially because, you know, if you don't play the tutorial, you may not understand how all of our mechanics sort of work. But yeah, if you wanted to have access to all 7 theme decks to be able to pick and choose right up to, you know, the day, which one you believe is the strongest one, you will need to have those unlocked at this stage. But yeah, obviously keep in mind, like theme deck tokens, there's 2 from the tutorial. There's actually 5 you can get from both the free and the Lux tier of the Battle Pass. So without spending any Lux, without spending any Lux outside of buying the Battle Pass, you could unlock all 7 theme decks by playing the game. You've caught us out here, Ray. We're trying to get people to play the game. Who would have thought? That was our evil plan all along.
That's
but yeah, if theoretically, if you were, you know, new to the game, enjoyed it, wanted to participate in that particular event, which is probably going to be one of the best events to be playing in if you are a newer player to the game, because the fact that we force theme decks across the board sort of levels the playing field in a lot of ways, almost similar to like limited formats in some other like TCGs. Then yeah, theoretically, you come in, even if you didn't want to do the tutorial, you could just, you know, maybe buy the premium welcome bundle that gives you 10,000 Lux. You can then just go through and buy all 7 theme decks and have enough Lux left over to, you know, to buy some premium packs or whatever you wanted to do. But yeah, you will need to own whichever 2 theme decks you're looking to play in the tournament.
Nice. Just a shout out as well, actually, to Loth Hank, who I think is Jay, but not that Jay in Telegram. Not 100% sure there, but I'm pretty sure. He's put in the deck lists of all the theme decks into the Discord, into the cards and decks channel. So if anyone's looking to have a look, actually, what's contained within those decks, if you don't have them already, Loth Hank's sort of put them in there for everybody, which is fantastic. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, we're actually helping with that as well. He's actually putting together like a fan site for the game that will basically have like all the cards, what they do, stuff like that. So we're helping from our end with providing all of that, like just raw data and like artwork and stuff like that. So that yeah, it'll be a really cool like community run and owned site, obviously. Or I mean, if they choose to let the community get involved, I guess. But I would imagine they would appreciate community support in making it all work.
Nice.
But yeah, the goal obviously being that you'll have that very centralized resource outside of the game to see what everything does, and yeah, obviously hopefully be a really cool place to discuss decks, strategy, that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, like I say, I think the theme deck tournament will be fantastic because it's a lot of it's luck of the draw, but experience obviously goes a long way for that. How to play cards correctly, but you're not going to get smashed. You know what you're up against. If you're playing the pink deck, you know what's in there basically, and you can
absolutely
strategize accordingly. Joffers has asked in the chat here, will the ultra card backs give some sort of utility to the game apart from being pretty?
At this stage, the plan is that ultra card backs are a cosmetic item. So the utility they give is that you get to flex on your opponent that you own them and they don't. So yeah, that's the primary, like they're a cosmetic item first and foremost. Having said that, the other big thing with the ultra card backs is the fact that like the current ones, there's 2 available in the store right now. They're only going to be available during season 0. So like, and this is one of those things where, I mean, again, it's also one of those things where you just have to trust us on this one. But I would hope over the past several years we've gained enough community support that you can trust us when we say this. They will not be available after season 0. We're not going to do like some sort of they're in this limited pack or something like that down the road. No, Like if you want to own those 2 card backs, or if you want to own the 2 card backs which are currently available in the Lux tier of the Battle Pass, you need to get them in Season 0. Come the 29th of August, you will not be able to get those. We are looking down the road, once we have like Beam integrated and we have like easy like on-chain access for everyone who's playing the game, we are looking at doing some of those card backs as on-chain items, which would theoretically mean that you'd be able to then sell, trade, move them between accounts and such. But yeah, obviously the Season 0 Ultras are like, they are account bound, they are soul bound card backs, so they will be bound to your Epic account, and you will not be able to get them any other way. So, on
Nice.
that as well, we're also working on adding the ability to set card backs on theme decks as well. So yeah, obviously at the moment all the theme decks just use the same generic card back. Yeah, we're looking to change that up so you'll be able to actually put any card back on a theme deck as well. So we'll hopefully have that done pretty soon.
I mean, they look fantastic in the game. The different card backs for sure. It's
actually
it's nice to see.
Speaking of card backs as well, obviously we've got a competition running with our friends over at Leonardo AI at the moment, where a bunch of their community members, in addition to like trying the game out and playing a few games, are also designing card backs, which as part of like a little competition we're running, the winning card backs, not only will they receive prizes both in RTLOL and over on the Leonardo side of things, but those card backs will actually appear in game from Season 1 onwards as well. So if you haven't had a chance to try out Leonardo, they do have a completely free tier, so you can just you can jump over there, sign up, and play around with it and give it a crack. Definitely do so. It's an incredible piece of software. It's ridiculous what the team over there has been able to accomplish.
And constantly evolving too, by the look, really. Everything.
There's always new stuff. I actually got a sneak peek last night at some of the new stuff they're working on. I won't even say what the name of it is, 'cause I'm not sure if it's, Chris, you might know, is it public yet? The very new thing that they're working on?
Don't believe so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But it was ridiculous. It was scary how good they're getting over there. And yeah, obviously
They've made some great breakthroughs with photorealism. I'm not sure what you're referring to. That's
what I was referring.
amazing.
Yeah, that's what I was referring
that's
to.
been posted on the Facebook groups and stuff. So
Okay.
yeah, it's like it looks like what they can produce there with photorealism is comparable with Midjourney now. So yeah, if you want to generate something that looks like you just took a photo using AI art, head over to leonardo.ai.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was public yet, but it's.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the other thing, but yeah, that one's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, no, not that. There. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, definitely jump over there, give it a play around. If you jump on our Discord, there's actually 2 channels there. There's a discussion channel and a submission channel. So you can design not theme decks. You can design card backs either with a a futuristic theme or a Leonardo theme. And yeah, like we'll work out how, like, there's just so many amazing entries so far. We'll have to work out how we're gonna actually try to narrow it down. But yeah, it'll be really cool for some of these AI art enthusiasts to actually be able to see their creations in a commercial product. So we'll be very, very keen to get that in there for Season 1.
That's pretty impressive, really. I mean, just the Web3, the connectivity with the community, to be able to have something you design incorporated into a game like this, really, and then be there forever. Basically, you can tell your kids about it or things like that. I designed that card back, 10 years ago, and look at that.
Yeah,
there it is.
Definitely keen to do that, and just really keen. Obviously, the Leonardo community. There's obviously a lot of overlap between people who are interested in AI generative art and then people who are interested in like gamers and stuff like that. And also, I guess just a huge shout out to Leo in general. Their Discord server is now the 3rd largest Discord in the world. I believe they're at, I think it's like 1.8 or
1.68. I'm looking at it now. Members on Discord.
Yeah. Oh, on the Discord website, it says 1.73.
On the Discord server, 1.73. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, which is just a huge accomplishment by the team. they've overtaken like Blox Fruits, which is one of the most popular Roblox games out there at the moment. Genshin Impact, Valorant, All Star Tower Defense. I mean, the Roblox Discord itself. Stumble Guys. Huge shout out to the team over at that worked on Stumble Guys and our friends over at Photon. I can announce that too, I guess. But anyway, awesome that the Leonardo community is just growing at an incredible pace at the moment, and loving the fact that their community has embraced the Lords of Light, being one of the first commercial products to use Leo in its production, and then like obviously we're very keen to keep doing more work with them as we move forward.
Nice. James has asked just down at the bottom of the chat here, are there any long guides, blogs covering everything from market rewards to gameplay? Obviously, that community sort of run site will go a long way to that.
Yeah, having that there will definitely help. Like I said, we're literally up after this AMA. I'm going to hopefully finish off one of two mediums that we're hoping to get out very, very soon. One of those is just a general, like, we're 2 weeks after launch, just like a general update for everyone who may not like watch the AMAs or stuff like that. But the other one being the big tokenomics guide that basically will show how we tie together like Rainy, Photon, collectible cards, and how that all works into our long-term plan around the Rainiverse. And when I say long-term, like, and I mean, I apologize, John, like, I don't know if it's Johns or Janes or however it's pronounced, so I apologize if I'm absolutely butchering your name there. When we say long-term, like, we're to I guess use an Aussie vernacular, we're not fucking around here. Like, we're talking 5+ years. Like, we are designing systems now that I want to see still being used and being refined and iterated on. But we're sort of trying to lay the foundation for the way that we want to support our community, reward our players between now and when man is walking on Mars, to put it that way. So, which given the fact that Elon's more worried about like putting big shiny X's on top of buildings in San Francisco at the moment, might take a bit longer, but hopefully he can, still work on getting to Mars at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. I saw, Chris, you sort of updated people a little bit in the Telegram about the upcoming tokenomics model, and that it's all sort of been pretty well ironed out.
Yeah, correct. So there was a bit of back and forth and just modeling different options that we had. But for about a full week now, we've had a fully laid out outline of the tokenomic model that we think we're going to go with. We've shared it with the key partners and stakeholders, and it seems like everyone's supporting it. So that means it's about time that we get that into a medium and get it out to the community. So keen to share it with everyone and finally answer that when medium question that's been looming for a few weeks now.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So it's actually, we haven't actually told people this, but every time you guys ask for a medium, we just do a shot of whiskey and then delay it by another day. So you could have had it like weeks ago. Just saying.
Yeah, that's just because you like whiskey, isn't it?
Oh, pretty much, yeah. Like, it's Actually, one of my favorite like Japanese whiskeys, Nika from the Barrel, is like it hasn't been discontinued, but it's becoming so popular. It's so hard to find at the moment. And I remember being able to pick up bottles of this for like $50, like Australian. So that's what, like $30 US or something. And I was at a local bottle shop on the weekend buying whiskey, as you do on the weekend, because we're Australian, that's what we do. And they're like, oh yeah, like we've had to put the price up to like $180, and it's like, holy shit. Anyway, first world problems.
Should have just invested in bottles of that whiskey when they were $30.
Oh mate, like when whiskey distillery, like it's
in the price chat, I suppose, particularly just recently, I haven't had a chance to read through them all. It was just last night and this morning for us, but people, and they often do, talking about the Rainy token. Basically the team seems to be neglecting the Rainy token. What's happening with the Rainy token? Why is the price not going anywhere? Obviously, for me, just I sort of think of the Rainy token almost like as a share in the company, and I know that the plans for it are to be able to stake the Rainy token and earn Photon, stake Rainy LP, earn Photon, but also the Rainy token will give us other as other games come out, if this game is successful and moves along, there'll be other opportunities. So there will be a lot of, I mean, it is the main token. Is there anything you can say just on the Rainy token itself, just to help people sort of get their mind
Yeah,
set
the
that?
main thing that I would say there is just look out for this medium that's dropping this week, because it's going to cover everything about the Rainy token. But I will reinforce before the medium drops that a big focal point of our discussions with the ice bags and the other key partners has been, how do we ensure that this new tokenomic model we launched for RTLOL directs enough value back to the Rainy token holder. So that has been like a central concern that we've built the whole model around. And yeah, I think with what we've settled on as the best path forward, you'll see there's a lot of utility for the Rainy token, which will be brought in with the full launch of RTLOL. So yeah, just stay tuned for the medium. I know I've been saying that for a while, but I assure you will get it out this week. So
Yeah,
it'll cover all the stuff to do with Rainy.
fantastic. No, that's great, guys. Thank you. Can't see here in a sec. Big part of the Gods Unchained. Just Jane's again, or Jane's down there at the bottom. A big part of the Gods Unchained is guide decks, allowing players to see the best decks and cards because of Open API. Is Lords Open API?
Yeah, it's a cool question. Not yet is the best answer I can give. We're actually doing some work on the back end. This probably won't be in for time for launch, but will happen sometime during season one. Just with everything that's happening, obviously at the moment, it's dropping down a little bit in the priority list. Where we're actually going to implement more of an open API where people can directly ping the back end and get access to some data. You can see like our first test of this was actually putting the leaderboards on RTLOL.com. So that's actually using like our first implementation of like an API system for that. For those who might not be aware, so let me take like two steps back here. For those who may not be aware, what an API basically is, it's a way for two programs or two websites or two computer things to talk to each other. So it would be a way basically that, random website here can talk to our game and go, hey, in this case, can you tell me who the top 20 players on the leaderboards are? And our website goes, sure, here it is, and gives it back in like a nice formatted list, basically, to do with what you want. On the back end, we collect literally everything. Like we've got, like I can tell you, who played a game at 2 a.m. this morning and what the 10th card staked was. Like we've got that level of data sort of baked into the system. But yeah, making it public facing, there's a lot of work that has to happen to do that correctly. Not just from a implementation perspective. Actually, implementing an API is actually very, very straightforward. Because even right now, we've got the game client, the dedicated game servers, and then our backend servers, and then the web servers all have to talk to each other and know what's going on. So we've already got a similar system to what you would build for an open API. But there's concerns around cost, scaling, and data integrity. So, I mean, there's been a lot of large platforms at the moment. If you look at like Twitter, if you look at Reddit and stuff like that, they've basically started charging aggressively for their API access because it costs money. Every time someone pings an API, our backend servers do a little bit of work, and that costs a little bit of money. So basically, we need to make sure we implement it in a way that's not going to, cost us too much money to actually do it, and also making sure that we do it in a way which is as user accessible as possible. So, again, we're working with one of our community members to build like a community fan site at the moment. Again, that's a great way for us to sort of test the best ways to go about building those sort of systems. In terms of best decks and cards and stuff like that, honestly, at the moment, look at the theme decks as a really great starting point. We also upload on our YouTube channel highlights from tournaments that we run. So I believe the first video has gone out from the recent Chad Doge tournament. I think next one's due to go out. So I think every 2 days they're going to be going out. So I think next one will go up today at some point. And they're obviously not only a great opportunity to see decks and cards, but also see how people are playing them. You literally get to see all the cards in both players' hands and exactly what plays they make throughout the tournament. And yeah, like I'd watch those. Jump on Telegram, jump on Discord, and most of the players you'll see in those tournaments are in those like chat groups. And ask them like, hey, like if turn 5 in this game, like you didn't play the Kampai Pandas, you played something else instead. What was the thought process behind it? We've got a really engaged community who, to be fair, have been playing the game now for up to 2 years, depending on where they got involved in like alpha or beta. So for new players coming in, just keep in mind you are playing against people that have played a lot of RTLOL in the past, but lean on them. Like, if there's one thing that I know about our community, is they love talking about the game. So yeah, definitely hit them up. Challenge them to games, insult George, all the important things that you should be doing. And then use that as a good way to learn. But yeah, we are definitely looking at what we can do in regards to making data more open and accessible. But yeah, I don't think that will make it in by the start of season 1. That will be a little bit down the road still.
That's all good. I mean, that's fantastic. Yeah, considering it in the first place anyway, so that's good. Mate,
yeah, we looked at one point of like what would actually take. We actually were chatting with the team at Beam around this. We're like, cool, like what could we actually do? Like, is there a way we could actually upload like every match result or every like match replay like on chain onto Beam? And then we Jans is asking who George is. Yeah, jump on Telegram and you'll find out who George is. We're looking at actually just every time a game finished, we would upload it on chain. So that like literally every single replay of every single game ever played was just like on Beam. And then we realized that like even though our replays are only a couple of kilobytes in size, on-chain data is horribly expensive. And I think when we went back and looked at how many games have been played like since the start of alpha, and the cost to actually upload all of those as on-chain data would have been several $billion to do it. So we, as a team, we decided that if we wanted to spend several $billion on the game, there's probably better things we could do than that. So yeah, I mean, Chris, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. If we want to drop a couple of $1 billion on uploading every replay, but I don't think that's probably the best use of our marketing dollars at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have a spare couple of billion in the first place, so I think it's all a moot point. But yeah, there's better things to spend it on than on game.
Yeah,
for sure.
Just one question there from Joffers in the chat there. I think maybe can you pick up a rug or a Chad Raini in a Genesis set pack from the shop?
You can. So in the shop, you'll see there are set packs and premium packs. And premium packs, I'm actually not sure if this has gone live yet. It might go in today's patch, but we're adding more descriptive info onto all the shop items. And it'll actually will show you what you can get in each pack. So that will go live hopefully later on today, or tomorrow for the rest of the world because we're Australian and we're back to front. So in set packs, absolutely, you can get a mythic, a rug, or a Chad Rainey. The odds of hitting that is about 0.5%. Or to put it a different way, you would have to open approximately 200 set packs to statistically have a chance at getting one of them. So they are very, very hard to get from set packs. The odds of getting them from a premium pack is doubled. So if you are mythic hunting, obviously one option would be to look at doing it through buying premium pack bundles, or obviously depending on how much you're looking for that particular card, keep in mind obviously we do have the secondary card market on sites like OpenSea and JPEGs, so you can obviously look at getting them as a collectible card as well if you wanted to.
I mean, anybody sorry,
I would say just a lot of different ways to potentially pick up those hard to find cards.
Yeah, I was just going to say, anybody who's new to the game coming in, that premium welcome bundle for the 10,000 lux for the price is fantastic value. I mean,
absolutely,
you can pick up those packs, with the 10 sort of packs in them, the Genesis and the Tempest and things like that, and just pick up a lot of cards for a good price. And if you happen to jag a mythic, I got my mythics from those, but I also got the same mythic again, and you pick up 1,000 lux. So you just get some good deals going on there.
Yeah, so I'll expand that just a little bit because it's a really cool point that people may not have realized just yet. So when we when you open a pack of a soulbound pack in the game, I think we touched on this last week, but I'll reiterate because it's a cool system that the team has put together. So when you open a pack, let's say a Genesis set pack, for example, that has 5 card slots. By default, 3 of those are common, 2 of those are uncommon slots. We actually roll for all 5 of them to see if any of them will get upgraded. So there's a chance, obviously, theoretically, there is a chance that you could open a Genesis set pack and it would contain 5 mythics. Although I'm pretty sure the odds of that happening are like greater than the number of grains of sand in the universe, or some crazy number like that, obviously. But yeah, so we roll the pack, we work out what each slot in the pack is going to be in terms of rarity. We then look at your soulbound collection and we try to fill each of the slots based on that. So, for example, say it was a pack that didn't get upgraded, so 3 commons, 2 uncommons. We go through and we try to find 3 commons you don't own and 2 uncommons that you don't own. Or when I say don't own, you don't have enough to max out the deck building limits, which is 4 for commons and uncommons, 3 for rares, 1 for legendaries, and 1 for mythics. And then we pop those in, and that's what you see when the cool animation fires and all that. That all happens in the background. Like we cover it up with a bit of the animation. So when you click on the pack and you see the cool pack opening animation, behind the scene, that's our server going, all right, let's check your account and bring all the stuff in and do it all there, sort of thing. If you say you rolled that pack that had 3 common and 2 uncommon slots, but let's say you own every uncommon, 4 of each uncommon in Genesis, then yeah, as Draz mentioned, if it's a set pack, we'll return you gold, or sorry, coins. If it was a premium pack, we'll return Lux there as well. And the amount that we return is based on the rarity. So yeah, if you already own, say, the 2 mythics in Genesis, and you were to roll another, say, a mythic slot in a premium pack, we would return, I believe it's 1,000 Lux that we return there, which is almost the cost of the whole bundle right there. It's almost like hitting a little mini jackpot, which is kind of cool. So, but again, we can do that because of just how rare it is to hit a mythic. We wanted to make sure that people who might be trying to just finish out their collection for some rares or uncommons, maybe, if you were to roll a mythic, that it still feels pretty good. And hopefully we've done that. Hopefully, hitting 1,000 Lux for opening a pack feels pretty good.
It does.
Yeah. Having said that, one thing I know I've pointed this out on Telegram a few times. I'll just point it out again. The numbers we've designed around those are set up to use, I guess. So they're set up to not return always the full amount of the packs. So, for example, if you own every card in Genesis, there is literally no reason for you to start cracking more Genesis packs. Obviously, you'll get a small return that you can then use to spend on other things if you say open them in a battle pass or something. But I wouldn't be going and buying bundles just to try and hit the mythics or something. I would never encourage that sort of mindset for it, basically. But it's basically just a way to try and reward people who have most of the cards collected, and make sure that opening packs is hopefully as enjoyable opening your 100th pack as it was opening your very first one.
And just for clarification on things, even if you had every card as a collectible, and you start opening soulbound packs, even if you had those collectible cards, it will still hit the 4 limit of soulbounds before rolling out. So if you got 4 collectibles, it doesn't say, okay, you got 4, here's your coins or Lux. It gives you the 4 soulbounds before it starts providing the Lux. So you collect all the soulbounds over again, which is a good idea, I suppose, in case you ever sell those collectibles as well.
Well, there's that side to it. There's also the fact that if we were to look at your collectible collections, because they can be traded and moved around, it would be very easy for someone to manipulate what cards a soulbound pack could actually generate in the first place. So yeah, we just wanted to basically do it that way, just because that allows us to have bigger rewards for people opening soulbound packs, basically. So yeah, it's like I said, we do them independently. There's actually a few questions coming up which very much relate to this. I'll let you get to the questions, but yeah. So basically, when you are opening soulbound or in-game packs, we ignore any connected wallets or connected collectible cards when determining that.
Yeah, I suppose if you look at those questions there, I think James is asking, the Genesis set pack different from the Genesis possibly premium pack? I think you've already discussed that as well, but
yeah. So Yeah, there's two different kinds of packs available for every set. So there's what we call a set pack and a premium pack. Set packs are ones that you buy with coins and will return coins as a reward if you have all the cards unlocked. Premium packs are ones that you would buy with Lux or you would get in bundles, again, also bought with Lux. And they will return Lux as the reward if you have all the cards unlocked. The other main difference is a premium pack will have double the odds of rolling rares, legendaries, and mythics compared to a set pack. So it's just, yeah, there's set pack is, I guess, your standard pack, if you want to think of it that way. And then the premium packs are the higher up ones. And when you look at them in your like pack screen, they're also the shiny ones too. So you can definitely tell them apart.
And just down the bottom there, James, again, does it do any of the packs that you open in the game itself under Epic provide NFT cards?
At this stage, no. At this stage, all of the packs that are available will only contain soulbound cards. If that changes at some point in the future, for example, that could change with like some of the season one battle pass stuff and things like that. That will be communicated very clearly. And like I said, that would be tied in directly with your Beam wallet. So we're working with, if you check some of the previous AMAs, we're working with Merit Circle's Beam subnet that basically sets up accounts or wallets for everyone when they log into the game. So it allows us to work with NFT cards or collectible cards in the same way that we would work with soulbound cards. So, but yeah, at this stage, none of the packs are doing NFT cards.
That sort of rolls into Joffa's question there. Basically, do we lose the cards that I suppose we earned in season 0 as we move into season 1?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think there's a similar question that popped up in Telegram a bit earlier today. So the plan at this stage, so will you lose any cards going into season 1? No. Anything that you've unlocked and you own will stay in your account. And obviously there'll be new sets coming out. So the next set is called Formations. It is scheduled for release in mid-October at this stage. So that will be after the World Championships, just I guess to put the reference there for it. But yeah, you won't lose any of the cards that you own. As we move forward, though, what you will find is that we will rotate what packs are available for sale in the actual store itself as soulbound cards. So what you'll find there basically is after a certain amount of time, and we're still working out the exact details of this, of how long a set will be available for general sale in the store. What you will find basically is that you will only be able to buy packs for the most recently released sets. So there will come a point at some point in the relatively near future, I would say, where Genesis 7DS or Tempest packs will not be available for purchase. Again, we'll communicate this very clearly when that is going to actually happen. And from that point forward, you'll either need to have the cards already unlocked in your account, or you'll need to look at at collectible cards if you're looking to use cards from those sets in the game. So we'll obviously be making sure that as we release new sets moving forward, that there will always be enough competitive cards and decks available as soulbound cards for new players who are getting into the game. But obviously, we've been very clear on this that our primary competitive format is what we refer to as an eternal format. The joke I've always made is that the deck you play in the 2023 World Championships, you could play that exact same deck in the 2033 World Championships. Because of that eternal style format, we don't rotate sets out like some other TCGs choose to do. As a designer, it's a stupid decision, but from a gamer and a collector perspective, it is the right decision. So that's we're always going to do what's right for our players and for our community, even if it is going to make me lose even more hair. But yeah, so at some point, basically, you won't be able to still buy those packs anymore. We may still drop them occasionally in, say, battle passes or stuff like that, but they'll be probably rarer than, say, promo packs are today. And yeah, obviously, for people who are looking for those cards moving forward, collectible cards will be the best way to obtain them.
I suppose the Web3 aspect of the game sort of makes you have to sort of keep things eternal to a degree. People owning collectibles, etc. They want to be able to use them. Otherwise, they become not.
Oh, for sure. Like, can you imagine if we turned around and told everyone who owns cards from Genesis that, like, oh, guess what? You can't use these anymore. The utility goes to zero. Then yeah, it kind of goes against that whole collectible nature of the game. But I mean, having said that, even if you ignore that, set rotation is something that TCGs have done for a very long time, and personally, I believe it's just a lazy form of design. It's a way for them to make sure people always have to buy the latest thing, just to be able to play the game in the first place. And I would much rather approach it as a design challenge of I need to design things which are fun, interesting, and engaging so that you want to buy the next thing that we release. I don't want anyone buying a pack of formations if they're only doing it to be able to keep playing the game that they enjoy playing. I want you buying formations because you're like, holy shit, like these cards are cool. Like there's new abilities, there's awesome art, there's amazing on play animations. Even the mythic that we've worked out the OPA for, and I know our art team is going to riot when we ask them to actually create it because they're going to hate me for it, but it's going to be funny and I don't care. Yum yum ice cream, yum yum.
Benefit of being the boss.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, it's I would much rather approach it from the attitude of I want to make a game which is fun, engaging, and exciting. I want every new set to come out to feel fresh and new. And yeah, like we're never going to take that lazy approach. We're never going to turn around and just go, oh yeah, like we're going to rotate stuff out. We're going to force you to have to buy new cards or build new decks. Like that's just shit. Like no one enjoys that, and it also works against you in a lot of ways. Like you might have players who come back a year or 2 years after later on down the road they see something exciting, they want to get back into the game. Telling those players that, oh yeah, all the stuff you owned previously can't be used anymore, except maybe in like one little format that no one gives a shit about. It's such a negative experience. I want players to be able to go, you know what, cool. I'm going away for 3 months on holiday, but I know when I get back, I can jump straight back in and play the decks that I'm already playing right now. Maybe there's some new sets out. Maybe there's some new cards, some new promo cards that I might want to, add to one of my existing decks. Or hopefully, maybe like, hey, a new set came out and there's this cool new mechanic that I'd love to try. So I'm going to either grab a theme deck or I'm going to, collect some more cards and build a new deck with it. But yeah, it's a very different mindset where I want people to collect new things that we release because they genuinely want to own them and want to play with them, as opposed to if you don't, you can't play the game. I'd rather dangle the carrot than brandish the stick. To lean back onto an old design saying. So yeah.
Cool. That's it for questions that I can see, mate.
Cool. We almost got under the hour. One of these days we'll do a 1 hour AMA and we'll go for an hour. But yeah, hopefully that was interesting for everyone. Hopefully that gives you a bit of insight into what we're doing. Obviously, yeah, we're full steam ahead leading into our full launch on the 28th of August. We've got the World Championships in September. We've got formations in October. There'll be a mini set hopefully dropping either December, January towards the end of the year. Yeah, just a lot of cool stuff happening in the Rainiverse. So yeah, thank you for everyone who's joining us. And yeah, let's fucking go.
Right on.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah, have a great day, everyone. And we'll catch you back here for next week's AMA.
Cheers.
See you
Thanks,
guys. Have a good one.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.